And our Thursday night football brings us to the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis. And our matchup, the Arizona Cardinals and the St. Louis Rams in an NFC West showdown. And as you take a look at the standings right now, Arizona one of 3 remaining unbeatens, along with Houston and Atlanta. San Francisco, a surprise team a year ago, only a game back. St. Louis and Seattle next in line at 2-2. And we welcome you, everybody. Brad Nessler along with Mike Mayock. It's been a long time, partner, since you can say that the NFC West had everybody at 500 or above. Simply put, a vastly improved division in the last couple of years.
Oh, it's the most improved division in football. There's no doubt about it. 2 years ago, Seattle wins the division at 7-9. Last year, San Francisco 13-3, and now how about these Arizona Cardinals 4-0, undefeated? Are they for real? Yeah. When you play defense like they do and can score on special teams, you're going to be in every football game.
Well, it goes back to last year. They've won 11 of their last 13 ball games. Keys for the night.
Key to me, and it's not sexy to say it, but it's about the offensive lines tonight. Both are beat up. Both teams have allowed 14 sacks. That's second worst in the league. So whichever offensive line can provide a little bit of a run game and protect their quarterback, they're going to win the game.
Well, the quarterbacks are good if you keep them upright.
Yeah, Kevin Cobb is in his 6th year. People don't realize this will be his 20th start. He's still developing. But when you protect him, he can play. Now, Sam Bradford's got a huge arm. Sam Bradford can be an elite quarterback, but Sam Bradford needs to slide and move in the pocket more comfortably to avoid sacks.
Tonight's game is available in HD and Spanish on your SAP channel. Arizona won the toss and deferred. Jeff Fisher, his first year as a head coach of the Rams. 18th season as a head coach. Ken Whisenhunt, best start since 1974 for the Cardinals, and they were the St. Louis Cardinals at that time. Jay Feely's got it teed up. It's been a long time since the Rams had a kickoff return for a touchdown. Chris Gibbons would like to change that. Arizona 4-0, Rams 2-2, and we're underway in St. Louis. Gibbons will take it 5 yards deep, and he'll bring it out. And he got across the 20, got some blocking. Heads to the near sideline. Nice return out near the 31-yard line. Rick Toller made the stop, but a 36-yard kickoff return. Sam Bradford coming out for the Rams. The offensive front has really been shuffled due to injury. Harvey Dahl is probably the mainstay on that right guard spot. The backs and receivers look like this. Jackson, one of the best in the business. Amendola, the number 2 receiver in the league right now. And good starting field position for the Rams on offense. Play fake. Bradford wants to throw on first down. Does complete out to the 45, maybe the 46-yard line. Brandon Gibson.
Hey, that was a sweet pattern. It's a double move with a comeback. You've got to pass protect to have the time to throw this. Off play action, which I love. Look at all the space he has. When he can step into the throw, he's as accurate as any quarterback in football. Double move, now the comeback. Guess who they're working on? Patrick Peterson. That was a nice route and a real good throw.
And a good follow through by Bradford as he was hitting the deck. Pick up a 15 out to the 45-yard line. Play fake again. Bradford's going to go deep. Amendola's out there. Got it. Wow. How about that on the second play of the ball game?
Yeah, and first of all, huge pressure on the quarterback. Darrell Washington got a big hit on him. Washington will come through almost untouched on a linebacker X stunt right there. Now, despite getting hit, look at the accuracy, and this is the premier matchup of the evening. Patrick Peterson against Danny Amendola. Amendola creates space And then look at the one-handed catch. That's concentration, that's ability, and partner, that's special.
And that's 44 yards to the 11. We talked about that matchup in the pregame, and there it was. And round one goes to Amendola.
Love the first two calls, play action and attack Patrick Peterson. How about that?
And Bradford now in the shotgun with 4 wideouts. Set to throw again. 3 plays, 3 passes, end zone. Just overshot Austin Pettis. Talk about lighting the dome up early, huh?
Talk about aggressive play calling. Ryan Schottenheimer. Schotty's coming out of the booth just calling an aggressive game plan, and you got to love it because, let's face it, Arizona's an aggressive defense. They're expecting to run early with Steven Jackson in the game, and they got him on their heels.
Steven Jackson back in there. They have yet to run the ball. 3 wides to the near side. 2nd and 10. Rams opening drive at the Cardinals' 11-yard line. Bradford again to throw. Running out of time, running out of the pocket, and getting what he can to about the 6-yard line. Sam Acho made the stop.
And that's what I want if I'm a St. Louis Ram coach. It's not there. Tuck it, Sam, and get as much as you can. And that puts yourself now back in a manageable 3rd down situation.
They can get a 1st down inside the 2. 3rd down at 6.
He wanted Amendola that last time, and he's going to get double teamed. And look who's on him right now. Amendola and Patrick Peterson.
That's in the slot right there in the middle.
Here it is right here. Will they give Peterson any help, or are they going to let him take him by himself?
On 3rd and 6. Bradford flushed out of the pocket. Going to be a tough throw, but he got it there. Touchdown. Lance Kendricks, the tight end.
Now, Kendricks was in line that time. Your inline tight end right here. What I like again is the mobility of Bradford. He's looking left, feels the pocket collapse, eyes down the field, and a wide open Kendricks.
What an opening drive. Touchdown pass for Bradford, his 5th of the year. And now Greg Zuerlein in for the point after. Up and good. What a way to get the hometown crowd in it, huh? Take it the length of the field with nothing but passes, including a big one to Amendola. And finally, Kendricks for the score. 7-0 Rams.
Interesting on that last touchdown, Brad. Now, Kendricks is here, and it's effectively 3 over 2. There are 3 defensive backs, and there's 2 receivers. At this point, watch what happens. The defensive back rolls with the deep one. The linebacker does not stay with Kendricks, and it's an easy throw going to his left.
Zuerlein to kick. William Powell back deep for the Cardinals, and he won't have a chance at this one. So the Cardinals and Kevin Cobb will come out to start from their own 20-yard line. Offensively for the Cardinals, this group up front, they've had some issues too. They gave up 8 sacks last week in their win over the Dolphins. Backs and receivers, they've got to get something from Ryan Williams tonight. Their ground game has gone nowhere. Excellent receivers, and King the tight end. Everybody knows Larry Fitzgerald. And I know Michael held up a sign down there. He's 140 yards shy of 10,000 receiving yards for his career. Maybe it comes tonight. Who knows?
And I think the development of Andre Roberts as a secondary threat is really going to help Larry Fitzgerald.
James Laurinaitis getting the crowd wound up. As already St. Louis with a 7-0 lead. And Cobb in the shotgun. Fires complete. Fitzgerald's got it. And got whacked after a pickup of 5. Defensively for the Rams, a young group and a group that's getting better every week. Led by Robert Quinn and Chris Long on the outside. Brockers, the rookie from LSU, making his 2nd start. Laurinaitis doesn't miss a snap ever.
Got a little tempo going here. No huddle.
2nd down at 5. They fake it to Williams. They throw a slip screen out to Roberts. And he's going to be short of the 1st down. He got 3. It'll bring up 3rd down and a couple.
Now, I was speaking on the field before the game with John McNulty, the quarterback coach who used to be the wideout coach here, and couldn't stop raving about the development of Andre Roberts. Larry Fitzgerald told us last night the same thing.
Yeah.
And when I watch him on tape, that kid pops. He's one of the better route runners in the league, and I wasn't even aware of it till I watched all their tape this year.
He had 6 catches for 118 yards and a couple of touchdowns last week. Cardinals haven't scored an opening drive touchdown in a long time. Well, they've got to pick up 2 yards at least to keep this drive alive.
A lot of noise in here. Let's see if these defensive ends get some get off.
Cobb out in the flat, first down. Nice sidestep by Ryan Williams. And he got it out to the 33-yard line.
Nifty job by Cobb because they don't block Quinn. They just throw the hot to Williams. Here comes Quinn. They don't touch him. Williams slides out of the backfield. Cobb sets his feet, throws from a different platform, and takes the hit.
And he did take a hit at the end of that play. First down, though, out to the 33. Williams a single setback. Not a big running game so far in the first 4 minutes plus. Now we get Williams on the ground. And he gets a nice run off the left side. Robert Quinn made the stop, but he picked up 4. They got to get something out of this kid, Mike.
And you know, when you lose Beanie Wells, who's your bigger, more powerful back, now Ryan Williams, who was a second-round pick out of Virginia Tech, all the ability in the world, but there hasn't been much there for him, Brad. It's an offensive line issue to me right now. It's not a running back issue.
Beanie Wells out 6 more weeks before his return. He'd be a late addition to what they hope is a playoff stretch drive. Second down 6, 4 wideouts for Cobb. Rams showing blitz, and Cobb changing things at the line. They back out of it, and Cobb throws. What a catch by Larry Fitzgerald. I thought that ball was going to be too wide and too strong, and he just went out there and snatched it.
I'm not sure there's anything that's too whatever for Larry Fitzgerald.
True.
And it's a great catch. I mean, you'll see what a hands catch it is because it's thrown to his outside. What I like there, Brad, the ball got out quickly. Kevin Cobb's making immediate decisions, and that gives you 3rd and a foot.
Fitzgerald to the sideline as they bring in an extra tight end on 3rd down and that foot that Mike's talking about. Quarterback sneak. Looks like he got enough. The spot from the far side looked good, and now got a little skirmish going on at the end of the play. If the official on the far side of the field spots it where he ran in, it's going to be a first down. And it is. So the Cardinals move the sticks again. Ken Whisenant, winningest Cardinal coach ever. Not that far removed from a Super Bowl year 4 years ago.
Yeah, he's a really good football guy.
So is Jeff Fisher on the other side.
Yep.
7th play of the Cardinals drive. I backfield. It's Williams trying to change direction, and he's going nowhere. Chris Long kind of forced the issue, and then he got help from his friends.
Yeah, Chris Long beats up the tight end, Jeff King, here, and then stays home. King is right on top of him. Chris beats him across his face, but sees the football come back. You can see him open his hips, make the tackle. That's why this kid was a first-round pick, and they just re-signed him to big money.
And, of course, Howie's in the Hall of Fame. Howie's here tonight, isn't he?
Howie was my recruit at Boston College, and one of the favorite people I've ever met in my life.
Gets a chance to watch his kid on Thursday night before he has to go to work on Sunday. Play action. Cobb's really got to get rid of it, and he got it out in the flat to Roberts, and Roberts close to another first down. And boy, Kevin Cobb, you talk about it coming out fast. It had to, because Long was coming again.
Yeah, and you talk about throwing from different platforms, meaning you don't have the comfortability to just stand there and make the normal throw. Watch him throw it sidearm, 3/4, because of the immediate rush. Nice job getting rid of the football. I love Andre Roberts involved early. All it's going to do is open the door a little for Larry Fitzgerald later.
They've converted 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1 in this drive. They've got another 3rd and 1 here. Last time it was a quarterback sneak. This time it's Ryan Williams behind his fullback, and he's got the first down. Spins his way backward inside the 45. And the drive stays alive at the 7-minute mark. of the first quarter. As we check in, third member of our team, Alex Flanagan. Alex?
Hey, Brad. Well, the Arizona Cardinals off to their first 4-0 start since 1974. Ken Wisenhunt describes his group as a resilient one and one that is finding players to make plays as they continue to win. He's quick to point out, though, that they're a work in progress on offense, that the offensive line is growing, and that they need to find some consistency in the run game through Ryan Williams, who we just saw carry the rock right there, Brad.
They're going to fake it to him and now come with an end around to Roberts. Roberts cuts back to the middle of the field and got it to the 40-yard line. James Laurinaitis holding on for dear life, or it might have been a bigger game.
Hausler does a nice job getting the block, but look at he almost doesn't get a clean handoff there from Cobb. That complicates things a little bit. There's Hausler coming in to allow him to make the cut up the middle. And again, I love the fact that they're integrating him into this offense so efficiently this early in the game. He
and Larry Fitzgerald both come out to the near side with Roberts, the slot man, on 2nd down and 7. And now Roberts on the move the other way. Blitz coming. Ryan Williams with a handoff.
There's Quentin Michael, who had to switch positions because of the motion, the change of strength.
Number 91, 5-yard penalty.
Took Finnegan one way.
2nd down.
Chris
and
Long
the safety, I'm sorry.
Chris Long got a head start there.
Chris Long. He's like the Energizer Bunny, man. He really is. He's one of the toughest, smarter players in the league. And I like what he had to say about his partner on the other side, Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
You know, he said he's the man. In a couple of years, what did he say?
He said, I'm just going to be that left defensive end run stopper. There's a guy that had 13 sacks last year, and he's saying Robert Quinn going to be better than he is. 2nd down and 2. Williams cuts it outside. Little shake and bake, and first down to the 30.
Bobby Massey at the point of attack with Chris Long. This is a good matchup. Chris Long might have had 13 sacks a year ago, but he's also a stout run defender. And Massey actually helped him get the edge that time. Good job by the right tackle, Bobby Massey.
But the Cardinals moved the chains. Impressive looking drive. It didn't happen as quickly as the Rams did, but at the 5-minute mark, they got something working here at the 30. They stay in a 2 tight end set with Roberts again in motion on 1st down from the 30. Play action. Cobb loads, fires. Thrown behind. Hauser is tight end.
That should have been a touchdown, Ness, and they got what they wanted because they were double covering the two. Here's Fitzgerald here and Roberts here. They're double covering this way, and what happens? The tight end goes right up the chute. You got to hit this one. Look, this safety can't get there. If you just lead him over the other shoulder, it's 6 points. So for as impressive as Kevin Cobb has been this drive, you need to make that throw.
First incompletion for Cobb. 2nd down and 10. And now back in the shotgun. Michael Floyd in as a 3rd wideout. Rams bring some pressure. The throw is right on the money, though, to Andre Roberts again, and it's a 1st down again.
And the timing was beautiful. The ball was out before Andre Roberts rolled into his route. Watch the way he rolls into this route now. Some receivers are stiff. Watch him just roll into it. Now come back to the football. Ball's already in the air. That's good coverage by Fletcher.
Yeah.
But you can't defend that one unless you're impressed.
That's a perfect throw.
Yep.
In the red zone, the Cardinals with the stretch play to Williams. Puts his head down and runs into Laurinaitis after a gain of a couple.
Yeah, Laurinaitis is one of the more effective diagnosed linebackers in the NFL. Knows when to come downhill hard, when to scrape hard.
Williams lost his helmet on impact. Laurinaitis, 1,052 snaps. He was in on every defensive play for the Rams a year ago. You don't see a lot of linebackers playing every snap.
No, he and Chris Long have been here 4 and 5 years respectively, and it's hard to get them off the field.
9-minute drive for the Cardinals. Can they keep it going? 2nd down and 8.
That's Fitzgerald, who lined up in the backfield and goes in motion, again trying to create a mismatch.
Cobb across the middle, and a play, a good one by Jolan Dunbar, who got a hand in front of Fitzgerald and knocked that pass down.
I give Dunbar a ton of credit, but I thought he had his arm draped all over the back of Fitzgerald. Now you're going to see the cross this way. Watch Dunbar jump it. Now let's see if his left arm is around the back. Certainly looks like it to me up on the shoulder pad. I think a lot of times they're going to call that pass interference.
Here's the biggest play of the first quarter so far. 3rd down and 8. First 3rd and long that the Cardinals have had. They've converted the short ones. Can they come up with a 3rd and 8 here?
Do they have a single on Fitzgerald down the bottom?
Cobb looking the other way.
Oh, he had him.
Oh, and then a crossing route incomplete.
Larry Fitzgerald, look at Fitzgerald's got his hands on his hips. He knows how wide open he was. You don't get one-on-one with Larry Fitzgerald very often. I don't mind the throw there, but Fitzgerald's wide open down here, one-on-one with the rookie, Janoris Jenkins. Double move. That's touchdown. There's nobody over top of that.
Cobb never looked to the left, though. He went to Doucette, or wanted to go to the right the whole time.
And by the way, good throw. Doucette probably should catch it, but I'm saying pre-snap recognition, he's got to understand he's got one-on-one there.
Jay Feely's perfect so far this year, 35-yarder, and he's still perfect. So a good-looking drive by the Cardinals. They had to settle for 3 with 3:15 remaining first quarter. Sundays wake up with First on the Field and NFL Game Day morning. This Sunday, First on the Field shows how the Packers' Charles Woodson has taken advantage of rookie quarterbacks over the years and what that could mean for Andrew Luck. Game Day morning, Eagles and Steelers are getting together, and we examine Michael Vick and Big Ben's ability to take hits. We'll also bring an in-depth look at the Broncos-Patriots game and a legendary rivalry between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. First on the Field and Game Day morning all starts Sunday, 7 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. 3:15 remaining first quarter as Feely, who just hit the field goal, kicks away. And this one's going to be too deep for Gibbons, and the Rams will come out to the 20-yard line. Well, their first drive was an impressive one, led by Sam Bradford. We'll see how they do with their second possession and a 7-3 lead when we come back. Great shot of the Gateway Arch and downtown St. Louis. Our aerial coverage presented by Southwest Airlines. Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan, and our NFL Network group here, where the Rams lead the Cardinals 7-3. Their opening drive, Sam Bradford, 3 out of 4, 3 different receivers, and a 7-yard touchdown pass. Now they start at their 20-yard line. Bradford throws quickly, complete. Austin Pettis. They scored so quickly on their opening drive, we didn't have a chance to set up the defense for you for the Arizona Cardinals. Good group up front. Calais Campbell, Williams, and Dockett. Linebacking core, Darrell Washington, a budding superstar in the linebacking area. 5-time Pro Bowler Adrian Wilson back there, the veteran, and Patrick Peterson, who made the Pro Bowl last year as a rookie, but he's already gotten picked on tonight by Danny Amendola. 2nd down, 4. Jackson trying to stretch it out, but Brian Schofield won't let him.
Yeah, and the old one, Adrian Wilson, the ageless safety, comes up, does a really nice job on the fullback, not allowing them to expand the hole. Good team defense.
So 3rd down. Didn't have a lot of opportunities to get to 3rd down in that opening drive.
Oh. Big Dan Williams goes off the field. He's lost over 40 pounds to become effective. And they're now in their sub package. Their best 4 rushers up front. And let's see if Patrick Peterson is matched up with Amendola again.
Here comes the pressure. Bradford steps up in the pocket, fires, dangerous pass. Amendola, the intended receiver, and Patrick Peterson was on him like glue.
Yeah, and I think Patrick Peterson was surprised that Bradford threw the ball, as I was. I don't think you could throw that football, and he's fortunate that one of the better football players in the league didn't pick that and dance into the end zone.
And one of those better football players in the league drops back to the 35-yard line. He had punt return touchdowns in both games against the Rams last year. If he gets one tonight, it'd be the first time in NFL history somebody's had 3 in a row against the same team. He'll try to keep it out of his hands. He has a look, and he'll take it at the 18-yard line. And he got collared as he got out at about the 30 by Mario Hagan. Has a look.
Yeah.
Takes it in and got an 11-yard return. We'll return right after this. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Chase Freedom. Get your cash back. Go to chase.com/freedom and activate bonus cash back today. And by GMC. Vote for the Never Say Never moment of the week at NFL.com/GMC.
You know, now special teams is tough duty, and I love the design on this last play. Watch McLeod, number 23, go in motion, expecting the gunners to come after him from the inside. Rashad Johnson, he never saw Rashad Johnson coming. You want to talk about helmet to helmet, but that's legal. He's not a defensive player, and when you have Patrick Peterson back there, the whole point is to slow down the gunners.
He knows Rashad now.
Hello, Mr. Johnson.
First down for the Cardinals at their own 29-yard line. Cobb straight back to throw on first down, and now on the run, he zips one down to Fitzgerald. Almost over the line of scrimmage when they let go of the ball, and a pickup of 19.
Yeah, I didn't know why he didn't throw it to Hausler, who was open, and I like what happened better. I mean, he bypassed Hausler, who was the check down, and because he kept the play alive, Fitzgerald found the hole. And if you put it on his body, that's a catch.
And Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best around.
Oh, how about what a human being he is?
Oh, man. He's a joy to be around and visit with. First down at the 48.
Cobb just killed the play, called a no one.
Comes a blitz. They had him wrapped up, and he got away. Going to get what he can. He takes a big lick over there on the sideline from Bradley Fletcher.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he was able to get away from this. He hasn't shown this kind of ability. Watch the linebackers here coming on an X. Comes free, makes a miss. That's Jolon Dunbar, who should have had it. Now here comes Bradley Fletcher, the fourth-year corner from Iowa. Big hit on Cobb. But both quarterbacks, Brad, keeping plays alive.
Second down at 10. Williams back in there in the backfield. Roberts in motion. And they'll give it to Williams. Trying to stretch it to the edge.
Larry Fitzgerald got away with a hold on the edge.
Got 4. Finnegan knocked him out of bounds.
Two of my favorite players in this league up against two of the most feisty players right here. Cortland Finnegan and Larry Fitzgerald. They're friends in the offseason. Fitzgerald says he works out with him and has a ton of respect for him, but Cortland Finnegan will not back down from any player in this league, regardless of size.
A quick first quarter. Good first quarter.
Yeah, man.
The undefeated Cardinals trailing the hometown Rams at the end of one. Courtesy of a Sam Bradford touchdown pass. Rams lead 7-3. Tomorrow on NFL Total Access, Colts quarterback Andrew Luck joins us to discuss how he and his teammates plan to take on the Packers, along with the latest news leading to this weekend's games. Catch NFL Total Access tomorrow at 7 Eastern, only on NFL Network. We want to give a shout out to a good friend, speaking of the Colts,
Chuck Pagano, and who we'll talk about after this third down play.
Third down and 6 to open the second quarter. Pressure coming from Long, and down he goes. Chris Long with a sack, his third of the year.
Keep in mind, last week, Bobby Massey gave up 4 sacks. Here's Long. Good get off on a key third down situation. Speed rush, uses his hands. That's all Chris Long. Quickness and hustle. And remember, Bobby Massey, boy, did he struggle last week against Miami. Cameron Wake beat him 4 times around the edge.
How about the track stance that Chris gets in when he comes around that edge? Dave Zastudil to bunt. The left footer hits it a mile high. Amendola calls for the fair catch and takes it back at the 7-yard line. 50-yard punt, no return. Chris Long with Howie in the stands tonight doing a little dance, his 3rd sack of the year. Rams with a 7-3 lead. Brad Nessler, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan with you from St. Louis. We mentioned Chuck Pagano a couple of minutes ago.
And recently diagnosed with leukemia. If he attacks that sickness or that illness the way he attacks life every day, we're going to see him back on the sidelines real soon. And I think our entire NFL family would like to extend our best wishes. He's one of the real good guys, not just a great coach. He's a great person.
We're pulling for you, Chuck.
Yep.
Rams start inside their own 10. Cardinals show blitz. Sam Bradford, quick drop, throws to the near side, completes it out across the 15. Nice job by Brandon Gibson. It's going to be close to a first down. He might have it.
Tell you, they're working Patrick Peterson's side a little bit here. Patrick Peterson is off in man. That's off man, peaked a little bit. Gibson just, when you're soft and off, I don't care if you're Patrick Peterson or a rookie that's never played, you might as well attack it.
So now the Rams have got themselves some breathing room at the 18-yard line. Richardson in the backfield along with Britt Miller, the fullback. Play action for Bradford. Fires on a crossing route in and out of the hands of Lance Kendricks. And Bradford has to pick himself off the turf. Sam Acho got him just as he got rid of the football.
Yeah, Britt Miller got tongued by Schofield. O'Brien Schofield came off the edge and killed the fullback. Like to see it on the other shoulder, make it a little easier on Kendricks. There's Schofield.
And that'll rearrange your lower spine a little bit.
No doubt.
Second down and 10.
You got to keep his feet clean, and then he can be one of the most accurate quarterbacks in this league.
They keep it clean this time, but it's batted down at the line. Calais Campbell, who's been known to do that.
Hey, he's 6'8", 300, and he's one of the best defensive linemen in football. And watch him extend at the correct time. Usually 6'8" guys can't play defensive line because they're not natural benders. This kid plays with leverage. He gets to the quarterback. Look at that number.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and watch out on field goal and PAT because he gets a few of those too.
Got a brand new 5-year deal in his back pocket too. They know how good he is. Third down and 10. Straight four-man rush. Bradford goes down the middle. He had Amendola open. And incomplete.
You know what happened is Amendola hesitated. He was going to sit it down. Bradford wanted him to continue. So it's a little bit of a disconnect. Amendola's inside. He's going to break in. He's wide open, and he wants to sit it right there. Bradford leads him into the middle of the field. See? Disconnect.
And he's saying, keep going.
Yep.
You can read Sam's words there, and now Hecker will have to punt. Peterson trying to chase this one down.
That's a great punt.
Great kick.
Oh.
Out of bounds at about the, where are they going to spot it? 14-yard line?
Wow.
That is a great kick. A rookie from Oregon State hits a beauty. Cardinals hold the Rams on a third down, and then a rookie punter hits it 68 yards to pin him down at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, in the coffin corner. I mean, that's as good as it gets.
Roberts in motion to the ball, and it's Ryan Williams on the carry. Picked up 4. Michael Brockers knocked him off his feet. That last incompletion Bradford intended for Amendola, and watch the reaction of both guys.
Bradford said, you got to keep going. Amendola said, no, don't lead me into the linebacker. I want to sit it down when I'm open. And that's healthy, and I'm not going to arbitrate that discussion.
They'll be on the same page the next time they take the field. Looking into the eyes of James Laurinaitis, the middle linebacker. Play action. Cobb fires near side. Nobody there except one of the coaches.
Did somebody get a piece? Did Robert Quinn get a piece of that from behind? That came out funny.
Brings up another third down, 3rd and 6.
Big play here.
Kevin Cobb trying to hear the call over the roar in the dome.
Yeah, this is a field position play here. You need to get a first down. And I guarantee you, Chris Long and Robert Quinn are coming hard right now. They're coming hard.
There's Fitzgerald down to the near side.
I'd say alert screen or check down to the tailback, Ryan Williams.
Blitz coming. Cobb. Whoa.
It's actually William Powell.
William
check
Powell.
down. Yep. I thought it was Ryan.
3 and out. I'm not sure if Powell extended like Kevin Cobb wanted him to for that football, to tell you the truth.
Here's Powell here. Cobb steps in front of Chris Long, and you see that's the same exact disconnect. Powell sat it down. Cobb was leading him up higher, and that's 2 consecutive plays we've seen on either side of the line of scrimmage where both wide receivers and quarterbacks aren't in sync.
I kind of thought Powell was seeing James Laurinaitis in the mirror.
You might be right.
Might be.
Yeah.
And punts away. Amendola's got a chance at this one from the 36. Danny Amendola puts the brakes on, goes the other way. And now out near midfield. Nice return. A 14-yard punt return of a
I love watching that kid play.
Right at midfield. Breast Cancer Awareness Month here in early October. We'll be back in a minute. Wake up with NFL AM, the only morning show dedicated to the NFL. Tomorrow morning, 49er linebacker Patrick Willis joins us to discuss the dominating defense they've gotten. As always, you can wake up with a first look at the latest NFL news, information, and highlights. Hand off Steven Jackson. And Jackson with a head of steam. Big run, 12 yards, first down.
Finally, a little bit of run game here.
Adrian Wilson, the wily old veteran, involved with one of the offensive linemen there.
They're going to let Dan Williams come through and watch the tight end come down and clean him up. Little trap block. Look how the hole opens up beautifully. Kendricks just nudges Williams out of the way, and we get our first good run gain of the game.
To the 38-yard line, first down, St. Louis. 2 tight ends set for Bradford. Jackson again. Tripped up as he got inside the 36-yard line. Sam Acho. You know, Mike, when you go back, that long punt, 68-yarder, and then a 3-and-out by the Cards, and then Amendola's punt return, and you talk about hidden yardage and switching the field.
And that's exactly what we talked about pre-snap there. They needed a first down because it was a field position play. All of a sudden, they're banging on the door.
Hey, check.
3 wideouts for Bradford. On second down and 7, blitz. And in the dirt, incomplete. It'll be third down and long.
Talk about a ball coming out funky, huh?
Yeah, really.
I thought it almost hit somebody's helmet. Let's see this throw. I guess he just threw it in the dirt, huh?
Yeah. He's only hit one of his last 6.
Yeah, they came out on fire, didn't they, with play action early. And now it's another 3rd and 8. And they really haven't, outside of that first big throw to Amendola, they haven't found him. Gibson's been the guy.
He's in the slot right now. Amendola on the right side.
Go.
3rd down and 7. Kendricks, the tight end, in motion. Bradford sets.
Double
Fires
move.
deep middle. Amendola had it in his hands and couldn't hold it.
And it was a beautiful move on Patrick Peterson. Little double move, and Bradford put it on him. So, A, it's protection. Great job stepping up into the pocket. Look at the route now. Double move. Peterson bit. Now you've got some clearance, really. And Danny Amendola comes down with that 99 out of 100.
Greg Zuerlein, the rookie, this is a chip shot for him. This is a 53-yard field goal attempt. He hit from 58 and 60 last week. Should be like an extra point. Hasn't missed all year. Holy smokes.
Wow. That went into the net from 53.
Greg the leg. That was easy. 10:45 remaining in the half. This kid has got a big-time leg. 10-3 Rams. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Burger King and the new Chicken Parmesan Sandwich. And by Chase Freedom. Get your cash back. Go to chase.com/freedom and activate bonus cash back today. Talk about cash. This guy's money. Rookie kicker, Greg the Leg Zuerlein. And what a weapon to have. 13 straight to open up his rookie campaign. I mentioned a 60-yarder last week, the longest ever by a rookie kicker in NFL history. And that 53-yarder he just hit could have been good from 63.
Dude, he's 4 for 4 at 50-plus this year.
Amazing. His kickoff is 9 yards deep, too, and Powell won't bring it out.
You know, when we had our conversations with Jeff Fisher, we asked about this kid.
Yep.
Like, where did he come from? And the scouting department did a great job identifying him, so they sent John Fossil, special teams coach, over to his college at Missouri Western. And Coach Fisher said the kid went 8 for 8, including 5 over 55. Fossil came back and said, hey, we got something here.
Yeah, you're not going to believe this guy.
And they took him in the 6th. He wasn't even invited to a combine. He had to go on his own to the Super Regional Combine. That's a long way from there to the 6th-round pick.
Now trailing by a touchdown. Cardinals work from their own 20. Cobb, quick drop, slant. Larry Fitzgerald on the receiving end, and it's incomplete.
You got to put that on the other shoulder. You talk about accuracy and a foot or 2 feet here or there. That's the difference between a completion and an incompletion. If you put it on the front shoulder, Finnegan can't break it up. The body would protect the ball. You put it on the back shoulder, Finnegan can drive right through it.
Larry Fitzgerald almost never drops passes. I think he's dropped 1 in the last 2 years, or going back to the beginning of last season. But that one was thrown behind it. 2nd down 10. Play action. Cobb, deep middle. Oh, what a play at the last second by Janoris Jenkins, the rookie.
That's an interesting matchup on Hausler, the 6'5" tight end that runs 4.5. Now, Janoris Jenkins is beat. Look at the catch-up speed right there. That's not a badly thrown ball. Would I like to see it thrown higher and out further to take advantage of the height? Absolutely. But that kid's got special feet and recovery skills.
Janoris Jenkins started his college career 3 years at Florida and then North Alabama after some issues in Gainesville.
Here they come.
3rd down and 10. Chris Long in his track stance again. Cobb steps up, throws complete, and it is to Hauser, the tight end, and down the sideline. After the catch, Hauser, nice move, and picked up 25 yards.
I love the pass protection and the ability to push both ends up high like that. Wow. Sorry, my telestrator went nuts there. He steps up, climbs the pocket, and hits Hausler. That's a wonderful job. Both tackles, Batiste and Massey, pushing the defensive ends by, and now you get this talented young tight end involved in the pass game.
Good gain after the catch out to the 45-yard line. 1st down, Cobb loads and going deep. Man out there, if he can get to it. Roberts, it was thrown. He was looking to the inside. It was thrown over his other shoulder. By the time he tried to locate it, he couldn't find it.
And Ryan Williams does a great job. Watch him eat up grass and stay square on the blitzing Quentin Michael. Good job in pass protection. Cobb steps up correctly, but throws it on the wrong shoulder. He wins. He wins inside. Don't put it back outside.
Roberts looked like a bobblehead doll there for a second. Couldn't locate it, so it's 2nd down and 10.
Chance to make a play there, man. You got to take advantage of those.
Michael Floyd in there right now. He's in motion toward the ball. Williams puts both hands around it and picks up 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Key situation here for Arizona. Good field position, 3rd and 5. You need a conversion. Points on the board.
They got it right at midfield. 4 out of 7 on their 3rd down conversions so far tonight. Trailing here by a touchdown. With 9.5 minutes to play in the 1st half.
Now they line Fitzgerald up everywhere. Inside, outside. They're looking for a mismatch. It looks like he has it right now with Fletcher.
Cobb throws complete inside the 40. And it's Michael Floyd.
Got it.
Oh, he dropped it.
Yeah, you got to catch this football. Laurinaitis does a good job. I don't know if Laurinaitis stripped it or not, but you got to catch this football. Let's see. It's right. I think it's between the 1 and the 5.
Yeah.
That ball's got to be caught. He had an opportunity to make a big play a week ago on a deep fade and couldn't come up with it. He's a talented kid, but you got to make those catches.
The #1 pick out of Notre Dame. Zathdil now to punt. Amendola had a nice return on the last one. He stands back at the 10-yard line.
Let him go.
On don't think he's going to have a shot at this one, but will it get to the end zone? Whoa, took a nice bounce for the Cardinals at the 4-yard line. Michael Floyd looked like he looked it in, but he didn't. And Kevin Cobb says, brother, you got to hold on to that one. Get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile from Verizon. Live NFL games Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights. Every touchdown from every Sunday afternoon game with NFL Red Zone, NFL coverage, and more. Call ** NFL to download NFL Mobile or go to bzw.com/NFL to learn more. Tough spot for the Rams. Second start inside their own 10-yard line as Jackson goes out to about the 7. And Mike, this is where the Cards have been good since the middle portion of last year under Ray Horton, their defensive coordinator. They've been pretty stout.
This defense has been as good as any in the NFL. Right now they're number 3 in points allowed against the Patriots. That was huge. Then they go to the Eagles, one of the most explosive offenses in the league. No touchdowns. A total of 4 touchdowns. They're averaging 15 points allowed, and they're only behind Houston and Seattle.
Of course, that 4 touchdowns is 5 now tonight, courtesy of the opening drive of the Rams.
You know, I was impressed with Ray Horton last night, Brad, when we met with him. I was already impressed with the way he coaches, and I think it's kind of cool that he's a Dick LeBeau disciple, both being drafted and playing for him in Cincinnati and then coaching with him at Pittsburgh. A lot of that influence with the overload blitz and the double A gap blitzes, but he's a head coach candidate in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Third down and 5. Sam Bradford has missed his last 5 passes.
Amendola's got William Gay one-on-one.
Here comes the blitz. Bradford lofts it. What a catch by Amendola. Laid out for that one in front of William Gay.
And that was the matchup you could see pre-snap. Here comes an overload blitz, and you get the ball out to Amendola, who's the guy you trust. Now, Bradford's trying to get him over the ball quickly to snap it because the Cardinals think he bobbled it. We can't see right there. Maybe we can look. They're over the ball already. Ooh. You see?
They might be right.
Did they throw? Yeah, they threw the flag. Whisenhunt.
And that might have been a good challenge by Wiz. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, they were hustling up to the line to try and snap that.
And that usually means you're the guilty party. We'll find out after review. You get another look as we go to break. They'll take a look upstairs. We'll let you know when we come back. Danny Amendola looking up at the big screen. I think he hurt his shoulder maybe laying out for this pass as this one's under review on a challenge.
Yeah, I think this is coming back, Brad. You can see the ball hit the ground clearly.
After reviewing the play, it's an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
It'll be 4th down and 5 yards.
Amendola stayed just long enough to see.
Please reset the game clock.
Whether or not it was a catch. You see him working on his shoulder, it looks like, on the sideline. Alex?
Yeah, Brad, right after he saw the replay up on the jumbo, he went into the locker room. You could tell something was wrong with kind of the shoulder, maybe collarbone area as he came off of the field after trying to make that catch. The trainers came over to him immediately, had him hold up his right arm and see if he could extend it, called a couple guys around him, and then took him right away to the locker room. We'll get back to you on it.
Well, he went to the locker room without his helmet because he threw it against the wall in there in the tunnel. And he might think that his night's done.
Remember last year, week 1, he went on injured reserve with the elbow. And here's a kid that's worked his way up from a free agent from Texas Tech, being cut by 2 teams. He's made something of himself in this league, and all of a sudden, if there's a problem here, my heart goes out to him.
Hecker would like to hit another punt like he did the last time. Wow. A 68-yarder. This is a pretty good one, too, but Peterson's going to backpedal and field it at the 31. Patrick Peterson, 4 touchdowns last year on returns, still on his feet as he gets out to midfield. Nice return there. Another 60-yard kick, but a 19-yard return. We got a penalty marker down.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 6 of the return team. 10-yard penalty.
So they'll back it up. Off to a 4-0 start, and it's Hecker. I don't know what he's thinking right there.
Are you kidding me? I mean, and that's on Justin Bethel, who's the best special teams player for Arizona. What's he thinking?
I don't know.
That's as bad as it gets right there.
So they're going to have the ball in Ram territory here when all is said and done.
In the back occurred during the return. not during the time the ball was in the air. 1st and 10, Arizona.
So Peterson, a nice return, and sets up his offense just shaded on the Rams side of the 50.
Look who's in the backfield for them. Doucette and Hausler. No running backs, a tight end and a wide receiver.
And the quarterback, Kevin Cobb, there with him, set to throw, flares it out wide open is Hausler. Hausler cuts back against the grain. Nice run after the catch again, much like he did earlier in this quarter, and he picks up 13 yards.
You know, we keep hearing people talk about how athletic this Hausler kid is, and it looks like, is that Quentin Michael?
Yep. Starting safety.
They line Hausler up here, and they get him the football. Good job by Cobb, stepping up in the pocket, feeling pressure. Now watch him make Laurinaitis miss. Right there. Laurinaitis overruns it. Remember, 6'5", 250, ran a 4.5 at the combine. This is a kid they need to continue to grow and develop because he has special skills as a receiver.
Michael coming in at the end of the play and looked like he hit maybe his own player's knee.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I think it was Josh Holt.
Yeah. It looked like 56. Josh Hall with the knee to the back of the helmet of Quentin Michael, the veteran out of Boise State. Training staff's out there. Jeff Fisher's out there saying, guys, let's back up. Wants to keep him away from the trainers and the medical staff. Again, as his head goes down the side of the left knee. Oof. Wow. This is where everybody on both sides is hoping that it's not something serious.
Yeah, this is where it becomes fraternal. You're all brothers at this point.
Yep. You can see the Cardinals saying a prayer, as we all are.
Stuart Bradley. Yep. Stuart Bradley's a former teammate of Quentin Michael with the Eagles.
Michael's second on the team last year in tackles, so he's a guy that does stick it in there and make a lot of stops. Second year with the Rams after those 8 years, as Mike said, with the Eagles.
It's tough enough, Brad, when you got to compete with the other team on these kind of hits, and it's just so sad when it happens on a hustle play against one of your own players.
I think he is sitting up. We can't quite tell, and that is great news.
Got a whole group of players praying about 7 or 8 yards away from him.
Yep. His teammates in that huddle right there.
Yep.
And he is up. There we go. You can all clap.
Good.
Including us.
Yep.
Might be the end of the night for Quentin Michael, but great to see him walking off.
This is where the new NFL concussion guidelines come into play. There'll be an independent person. They'll make sure that before anything happens.
The game, the first drive of the ball game, Sam Bradford was almost perfect and took his team 69 yards in a little over 2 minutes to get a 7-0 lead. First offensive touchdown for them in 3 games. Kevin Cobb, 9 of 18. He's got a first down here at the 37-yard line. Larry Fitzgerald up to the top of your screen. Roberts in motion as Cobb looks that way. Wanted to come back the other way, and down he goes.
Well, he's fortunate just to hold on to the football. Robert Quinn just beats Batiste right off the ball. This is what we talked about earlier. The 2 tackles struggle with speed. Watch the speed rush to the outside. Batiste gets beat immediately. Turns perpendicular too early. Quinn wins. I'm impressed with Cobb holding on to the football given that situation.
That's the third sack of the game. Remember, he went down 8 times against the Dolphins, and you're right, he pinned that football against his shoulder pad, or it would have been out. And now second down and 19. Cobb open over the middle is the tight end. Hausler got some of it back. Still going to bring up third down and long.
St. Louis just sat back in the zone. The key here is whether or not, what do you consider comfortable field goal distance? The ball's on the 37, plus 8 is 45, plus 10 is a 55-yard attempt where they are right now.
Jay Feely warming up.
Big play.
Crowd's into it. Third down, 11. Cobb over the middle. Great catch, and hanging on to it is Early Doucette, and I think he's got a first down. If not, very close.
Yeah, that's a really good throw and catch because Quinn won again. Quinn, last time he got a sack with an outside speed rush. This time he's going to come under Batiste. He's here. He's going to come under Batiste, get immediate pressure in the quarterback's face. Another sidearm throw, very accurate, and I'll tell you what was it, second and 19, Brad?
Yep.
Make 2 pretty good plays, and you get a first down.
First down at the 27-yard line. Cobb straight drop back, goes for Fitzgerald, incomplete. Had a half step, but it would have taken a perfect throw. Janoris Jenkins, Darian Stewart are back there defensively.
Yeah, it's the matchup you want. You've got one of the best football players in the league in Fitzgerald on a rookie. The rookie's got outside leverage, and that's a pretty well thrown ball. He goes for the one-hand grab, and it's just beyond. But that's the matchup you got to attack. If you see it and feel it, you got to attack it.
Second down at 10. Williams hit in the backfield, keeps his balance, and got a couple out of it. Cudjoe was the first guy to make contact, and then Laurinaitis came in to clean up.
Yeah, Cudjoe just
third down
followed,
and long again.
Yeah, he followed the guard pulling right in behind, and as you said, Brad, he was the first guy to disrupt the play. So now you're in field goal distance comfortably. You can't take a sack or an interception. Kevin Cobb's got to be thinking ahead. He made a horrible throw in the red zone last week that almost cost him the game. When in doubt, get rid of the football.
3 receivers to his left on third down and 8. Motion movement up front now. Which way is that one going to go?
I think it's against St. Louis, and I think Darren Collins jumped off just to show it.
Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Michael Brockers, a rookie out of LSU, jumped in there, and that'll give him a free 5 and make it a little bit easier to try to convert the third down.
Now your playbook's a lot different looking on 3rd and 5. A lot of those underneath routes, arrow routes, pivot routes, all of a sudden it gets a lot easier to make a throw, or if you want, you can still run the football here.
They get a first down at the 17-yard line. That was only the second penalty of the game, but it gives the Cardinals a little better shot here. Third down and 5. Fitzgerald in motion. Here comes a blitz. Cobb to the sideline. Almost caught, almost intercepted, and incomplete. Wow. That was a bang-bang play.
Yeah, and I like the pre-snap decision by Kevin Cobb. I'm not sure I like the throw as much. I think he had something there if he leads him a little bit more in the end zone.
Hey, come on now.
Pre-snap, he understands he's got one-on-one, overload blitz. The fullback Sherman gets a little bit of a pickup. If you throw that towards the back corner of the end zone and give Roberts a chance to go get it, I think he can make a play.
Jay Feely, 19 straight. He hit one earlier from 35. This is from 40 yards out to try to close the gap a little bit. And he missed it. Wow. So much for the streak. Still 10-3.
Well, it's kind of as advertised, Brad, from a special teams and defensive perspective. We're getting what we thought we'd see. That's uncharacteristic, of course. But, you know, Arizona's generated 129 yards of offense. St. Louis 109. Two dominant defensive efforts after those first drives.
Jeff Fisher told us yesterday afternoon this game might end up being 13-10. We're on pace right now.
He's a savant.
Nice run by Daryl Richardson, the rookie out of Abilene Christian.
I kind of like this kid. 7th-round pick. Not a lot of publicity generated about him. You know, Brad, they drafted 2 running backs, Isaiah Pede in the 2nd round, who was the big-name kid from Cincinnati, and Richardson in the 7th. Richardson has consistently outplayed Pede to the point now where he's getting almost equal snaps in the backfield with Steven Jackson.
We saw Steven Jackson over there on the sideline. 2nd and 3. Give it to him again. He slips this time.
Get up.
He tried to.
Right.
Cardinals weren't going to let him go. Let's check in with Alex.
Hey, Brad, well, there's certainly indication that the Rams really like their running backs. The news came out today that the Rams will allow their all-time leading rusher, Steven Jackson, to void the final year of his contract. I talked to Les Snead a little bit about it before the game. Seems like it's a bit of a courtesy thing to Steven Jackson so that he can go out, maybe become a 3rd down back somewhere like LaDainian Tomlinson did, but he couldn't opt out and might not be with this team after this season.
Well, he's been the workhorse. 7 straight 1,000-yard-plus seasons here on a Rams team that has not been able to make the playoffs for him. Trying to this year. Bradford, deep drop. Look out. Wow. Down he goes. Way back around the 25-yard line. Darrell Washington, that linebacker that I said is a budding superstar, just leveled him.
He really is, and there's some confusion up front between Harvey Dahl, Barry Richardson, and the tailback, allowing Washington to come off. Here's Washington. Both the guard and tackle come down. He comes clean.
A guy that got hit way too many times last year, Sam Bradford, doesn't want to take too many more of those. Going to be 4th down when we come back. We're at the 2-minute warning in St. Louis. The hometown team up 10-3.
The Lexus halftime is coming up. Join me, Rich Eisen, with Irvin, Dion, and 2 returning alums, Kurt Warner and Marshall Falk, as we analyze the first half. Brad, Mike.
All right, Rich, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hecker into punt. He's averaged 61 yards a punt so far tonight. But remember, Patrick Peterson, flags are down, is on the other end. Tough catch, nice spin. Peterson, a guy that can change a game in about 10 seconds. Peterson across midfield.
I think
again,
it's coming
a penalty
back.
marker on the play.
Yeah. I think Arizona jumped on the edge, Brad.
Well, he didn't get all of that one, only a 56-yard.
It was pretty cool watching the way he caught that ball and checked out the gunners simultaneously. I mean, he's special back
Offside.
there.
Defense. Number 29.
Yep.
Penalties decline. Down.
So they take a 35.
No, that's incorrect. That the penalty's not declined.
From the previous spot.
There you go.
John Perry
repunt
got
it,
it straight
right?
the second time, right?
Check his eyes out now. You're looking at the ball, but where are the gunners? Now the head comes down. He's checking the gunners. It's like a really good center fielder who just innately has a feel. Second look at the gunners, and here come the eyes again, and then a big play.
You used to shag punch. Did you get 2 peaks or not?
I didn't even get 2 feet, let alone 2 peaks. Kidding me? Look at the spin move, because he knew the gunner was coming. He understood because of that second peak. He's going to have to make that first guy miss quickly.
Takes a big deep breath after that 35-yard return of the last one.
2 peaks. Kidding me?
This time he's lined up like he's going to kick it to the left side of the field. And whistles and flags again.
Oh, Justin Bethel jumped into the neutral zone. A little sloppy and a little chippy all of a sudden.
Ken Wisenhunt just said, what's happening?
John Fossil, special
Neutral
teams
zone
coach.
infraction. Defense number 31, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
They keep messing around. They're going to get a first down out of this. It's 4th down and 2.5 now.
They're the best team in the league at hidden yardage, and they just cost themselves because of that punt return that should have been, except for the offside.
You saw Jay Feely on the sideline. Patrick Peterson told us last night, I just have Feely do all the distance about where I should stand. I can't pay attention to that. So Feely put him at the 15-yard line. Running out of real estate.
Wow, was that a great kick.
Knock it down at the 6-yard line.
People have no idea, Brad, how hard it is to keep your distance while you're also aiming out of bounds.
57-yard kick with a 57-yard net. And he said, there we go.
John Fossil.
Special teams coach.
Call him a blade. He's about 6'3", about $120.
So again, buried inside the 10-yard line. Kevin Cobb, 50% of his throws tonight. Sam Bradford started hot and then went ice cold.
And that's we're talking about the hidden yards because of that punt and that penalty on the punt. They lost 47 yards.
Stuff that doesn't always show up in the newspaper the next morning. First down at the 6-yard line. On the ground, Powell, nice run out to the 13.
Quiets the crowd, gets some movement. Neither one of these teams running the ball very effectively. Arizona's got 42 yards, St. Louis has 30, and we kind of anticipated that coming into this matchup.
Arizona came into the game 30th in the league, averaging just 68 yards on the ground. Now you see the rushing yards on your screen. Second down and 3 with a minute remaining in the half.
You heard him kill it.
Cobb, look out! Leveled by Joan Dunbar at the 5-yard line.
You know, this is pretty cool because the defensive ends get so much pressure. When Cobb tries to step up, he runs right into Jolan Dunbar. So you're going to see pressure here, quarterback climbs the pocket, and here comes the blitzing linebacker. Bang! Nowhere for Kevin Cobb to go.
Dunbar, the former Saint. Chris Long enjoying a teammate and getting a sack back there at the 5-yard line.
What did Chris tell us the other day? It was so much fun to know that you could step on the field and compete with a realistic chance to win,
right,
instead of trying to trick yourself every week into thinking you might.
Kevin Cobb, 4 sacks tonight. We mentioned 8 a week ago. And the Rams will be teeing off here on 3rd down and long.
Yeah, they're going to have to start helping out their tackles a little bit, which is what they had to do last week to give Cobb a chance to make a play.
That Rams front again in their track stance. 3rd down and 8. Cobb, here they come. He got the throw away to Powell. Only to the 10.
Flag down late in the end zone. I think it's going to be a roughing.
Kevin Cobb, helmet off and on his knees.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 98. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Kendall Langford, the defensive tackle, with a penalty.
Releases the football. Langford comes in from the front. I don't think it's Quinn from behind. It's Langford from front. And remember, if you're defenseless and there's any kind of contact with your shoulder pad, elbow, forearm, or helmet to the neck or head area, it's an automatic.
Jeff Fisher not agreeing. It almost looked like Langford tried to pull up at the end, but it is helmet to helmet.
There's as much as you might or might not like it, that's the rule. It was correctly officiated there. Kevin does a good job pulling the helmet off and selling it.
Rams 3 penalties, all on their defense, and it gives the Cardinals a first down out at the 26-yard line. They've got all their timeouts remaining. Kevin Cobb much like last week, has been knocked around in this first half. Four wide receivers. He comes to Powell out of the backfield, and Powell out of bounds and close to a first down.
I give Kevin Cobb a little credit for hanging in there. He's taken a beating. Remember, Brad, 6 years in the league, but it's only his 20th start.
Right.
That's like being early in your second year in the league. You know, that's how little opportunity he's had to mature as a quarterback. 41 seconds remaining in the quarter. Again, Arizona's got all its timeouts to work with. They moved it by penalty and then by pass out to the 35-yard line. Cobb throws it deep out on the other side. It's incomplete. Receiver fell down. Michael Floyd on his break. Ness, we talked about giving some help to Bobby Massey, that right tackle, and that's what they have to do. They did it a week ago, and you'll see right here. Here's Massey, and here's Powell. Double team him, little chip right there. He's still throwing off that back foot. Michael Floyd slips down, but he was his most effective as a passer last week, rallying them to victory when they double teamed and helped those tackles.
Fitzgerald down to the bottom of your screen. Doucette, Floyd, and Roberts to the top on 2nd and 10. Cobb in trouble, scrambles, throws short. His safety valve out of the backfield is Powell, and he got it out near the 43-yard line.
And Cobb's taking a beating, getting hit every time he throws the football.
Timeout taken by the Cardinals. 29 seconds remaining in the half. After tonight, we've got 9 more Thursday night football games. Next Thursday, Big Ben and the Steelers have been to the playoffs for the last 5 years. This year, they're already 2 games out in the AFC North, and they need a win against Chris Johnson and the Titans. You don't want to miss it. Thursday night football next Thursday, 8 Eastern, here on NFL Network. Last week, Chris Johnson got on track a little bit.
And obviously that's going to help. Quarterback locker goes down. Hasselbeck comes in, the savvy veteran, and both teams need a win. And I think you're going to see their best efforts both this weekend and then again next Thursday night.
3rd down and 2. Rams look like they're only going to bring a 3-man rush. Cobb, quick throw, almost intercepted. Janoris Jenkins jumped all over that.
Yeah, and he wants to flag Larry Fitzgerald up around his helmet. Face mask. Hey, Janoris Jenkins has been active tonight. He's competed. I thought they beat him a couple times, but this kid hangs in and competes. Look at him jump the route. He thinks he's got a pick six. There clearly is a face mask.
Larry Fitzgerald turns defender there and upends what could have been an interception. And Jenkins, who just made that play, will drop back as the punt returner with Amendola in the locker room with what we think's an injured shoulder. A disaster little punt.
Let him go!
Jenkins camps under this one at the 9. And he gets collared at the 20-yard line.
Again, Acho.
And they're checking Kevin Cobb to see if the jaw's working right.
I'm telling you, Brad, he's taken a beating. He took a beating last week. He's the son of a coach. He comes from a football family. He understands the game, but they have to protect him.
This is the way the night's gone.
Right up the middle. Gunn, Quinn from behind, does a great job holding on to the football. It's not just the sacks, even though there's a sack there. It's almost every throw he's taken a beating.
Well, the Rams scored on their opening drive. Sam Bradford with a touchdown. Chris Long and the defense has done the rest against the Cardinals. And the undefeated Arizona club is down at halftime as they head to the locker room. 10-3 the halftime score. Stay tuned. Rich and the guys will have the Lexus halftime show coming up next. Just about set to go in the second half. Cardinals and Rams 10-3 as we're just about set to begin the third quarter. Brad Nessler with Mike Mayock and Alex Flanagan. You said About an hour and a half ago, whoever keeps their quarterback the cleanest has got a good shot. One guy's got his leading receiver out, and the other guy's checking his mandible to see if his jaw's going to work.
Kevin Cobb's thrown the ball 27 times. Neither team can run the football. Let's underscore the fact great defense is being played despite all of that. I think both teams left opportunities on the floor. I mean, here's a situation. You're going to double team the two outside guys, and Hausler runs right down the middle of the field. Now, either Hausler has to catch the back shoulder or Cobb has to throw it front side. Now, Larry Fitzgerald draws a crowd. Great opportunity to hit Andre Roberts deep, one-on-one on Janoris Jenkins. Throw it to the wrong shoulder. Danny Amendola uncharacteristically drops 2 balls. Both of them were difficult catches, but one's Amendola usually makes. And on top of all of that, Amendola had to leave the game, and we're not sure of his status for the second half.
Don't forget you can get access to coaches' film and full game replays from the first 4 weeks of the season on demand in HD. New low price now available at NFL.com/game rewind.
Yeah, you got to go get that one. That's the coach's tape, which I spent years trying to get, and now they're offering it to the public. It's amazing.
At a new low price, nonetheless. Andre Roberts is back deep, awaiting the kick of Greg Zuerlein, and if he gives him a chance to return it, I'd be surprised. They'll bring it out to the 20. We go to Alex.
Well, Brad, Ken Wisenhunt is looking to start this second half differently from the way they finished it. He was upset about his team giving up 47 yards on 2 penalties on punt returns, was also pretty animated about some of this team's mistakes, dropped passes, a missed field goal. Meanwhile, Jeff Fisher telling me that in the second half they need to switch the time of possession. The Rams had the ball for just over 10 minutes. The Cardinals almost 20 minutes. You mentioned Danny Amendola. Jeff Fisher telling me that he is out of this game with what the with what the Rams, Gordian Slip, are calling a shoulder injury.
All right, Alex, thanks. So Cardinals get the football first here, trying to run and not getting able to. Robert Quinn with a loss of 4 on Ryan Williams.
These offensive tackles for Arizona are going to be a main problem as this season goes on. Batiste this time in run game gets manhandled by Quinn. If you can't run the football and you can't protect your quarterback off the edges, no matter how good your defense is, you struggle.
Just going to ask you that. Yeah. You can only go so long with defense, whether you're undefeated or not. Sometimes the offense has got to come to life. We'll see if it does in the second half. Miles Senline, the center, having a look, and Cobb in the shotgun, and here comes a blitz again. And the throw is too far in front of Andre Roberts.
And Brad, what happens when you get hit as many times as Kevin Cobb did in the first half? I don't care how tough a guy you are, your clock starts to speed up. Yep. You start getting rid of the football early. And what was it, Chris Long, I think, told us, or Laurinaitis yesterday, that when you hit a quarterback enough times, their eyes start coming down.
Yep. There is Long. He's got one of the sacks tonight. Arizona's been good on 3rd down and long. 2 for 2 on 3rd and 10 or longer. This is 3rd and 14. Just a 3-man rush. Kevin Cobb steps up, scans the field, and comes complete to his tight end out near the 20, Jeff King. But a short gain, and they're going to have to kick.
Yeah, I mean, that's a win for the defense. And it's all set up by the fact that on 1st and 10 you lose 5 in the run game. How do you do that, right?
You have Robert Quinn coming off the edge, is what you
Well, I mean, you talk about Batiste, the left tackle, 7-year player but a journeyman. He's been cut by 5 teams. I'm not trying to take a shot at him. I'm just saying the tackle play has to get better for Arizona.
Zasted to the punt. And again, Janoris Jenkins, the rookie, back as the punt returner with Danny Amendola out with the injured shoulder. High kick. Jenkins waits on it and takes it at the 32. Dangerous, but he got a little bit out of it. About a 5-yard return. Kevin Cobb has taken some shots tonight. Ooh. The lips are bloody. 10-3. March here in St. Louis. Rams with a lead in the ball, starting at their own 36-yard line. Bradford throws and almost making a catch on his backside. Chris Gibbons couldn't hold it.
Givens, a talented fourth-round pick out of Wake Forest. They had an interesting draft this year, and Les Snead, the general manager, the new GM, and Jeff Fisher went out of talent and picked some guys that had some off-the-field issues, but who they strongly believed in.
Givens, a rookie out of Wake Forest. Bradford has missed his last 7 passes after starting off 3 for 4 on the opening touchdown drive. High snap, blitz coming over the middle, and that one's almost picked off on a deflection intended for Givens. And Paris Lennon almost had himself an interception.
You know, you hate to say the basics, but you got to look the football in. He was looking at the linebackers before he ever secured the football. It's a short throw over the middle.
Diving attempt by Lennon.
Here it is. Boom. Where's the head? Got to look that ball in. And Lennon almost makes the catch.
Rams have not converted their last 5 third downs. And we got a false start, I think, on Barry Richardson. It's going to make it worse.
False start. Number 79. Offense. 5-yard lead. Third down.
Third down at 15 coming up.
You know, we talked about the offensive lines in the open. Who's going to do better? You look at this Rams offensive line, and Rob Turner was a backup with the Jets. Wayne Hunter couldn't handle it with the Jets. Quinn Ojanaka, the left guard, was cut at the final cuts, brought back. Barry Richardson from Kansas City, a journeyman. They're holding this thing together with baling wire and tape.
Harvey Dahl is really the only Pro Bowl caliber type guy that got in the front of Sam Bradford, who's scrambling now and running. And penalty markers down as he goes down with what would be a first down.
How about Sam being aggressive there, dropping the helmet down and looking for the first down?
Again, a penalty marker down at the 44-yard line.
That's something that can ignite a team a little bit, if depending on who this penalty's on. But when you see your quarterback give his body up like that for first down, guys
There's
like it.
There's 2 fouls in the play, and they'll offset. Holding, number 79. Illegal contact, number 28. We'll replay, third down.
Barry Richardson having a tough series here.
Back-to-back penalties. See him drop the head, run through the tackles.
Takes a big shot on what would have been a 16-yard gain and a first down, but the offsetting penalties brings it right back to where we were, third down at 15.
Now, I thought last week, because of what Seattle did to Green Bay with all those sacks, this line only gave up 2 sacks. I said to Paul Boudreau, the O-line coach, you should have got a game ball. He laughed and said, Mike, my 5 offensive linemen did.
See if they can get Bradford time here. Gonna loft it long, left sideline, and too far in front of everybody. I'm not sure if Chris Givens gave up on that or not. It looked like he stopped running over there on the pattern. It's fourth down.
I thought Steven Jackson was a little bit late on the pass protection. Watch him. Here comes the linebacker through. Washington almost makes the play. You've got to attack Washington. Here it is. The problem over there, Brad, is you're right. It was cut off by the corner, but you've got to try and give the quarterback an area to throw in. You can't get, you know, it's about 7 to 8 yards. You want that wide receiver to run that route from the sideline. Give your quarterback an angle.
Here's been the best player on the field tonight, Johnny Hecker, the punter.
Killed the ball.
Again, trying to keep it out of Peterson's hands. He will get it at the 11-yard line. Makes the first man miss. Might be an illegal block there. He's back to the 5. Only got out to the 12-yard line. I think they could have thrown a flag on that return too. As it is a 58-yard kick again and only a 2-yard return. We'll be back to St. Louis here in the third quarter in a minute. Cardinals team to go 4-0 to start a season. You remember these guys, the cardiac cards, Jim Hart, Terry Metcalf, Roger Worley in the secondary, Mel Gray, their leading receiver, Conrad Dobler chewing on people's fingers down there in the offensive line with Dan Deerdorf, and Don Coryell, the coach. They went to the playoffs and lost in round 1 to the Vikings. Here, the Cardinals up 2012 off to a 4-0 start, but trailing the St. Louis Rams in the third quarter.
Which ought to make them feel comfortable given the fact that they're usually trail going into the fourth quarter before they mount a comeback.
Absolutely. Williams hit for a loss.
There's nothing there.
Craig Dahl came up from the secondary.
Craig Dahl just beat up Andre Roberts. 8-man box. Refused to let them run. Neither team, it's an exercise in futility trying to watch both teams run the football right now.
Sure is. It's back to the 11-yard line. Second down at 12. The fans in that end zone are going to make it difficult on Kevin Cobb and company. 3 wideouts. Fitzgerald up top. He's been pretty quiet. Cobb throws near side, incomplete, intended for early to set.
I hate to keep harping on this, but the defensive ends, watch the spin move by Chris Long here. Working on Massey. Boom, here comes the spin, and now he's going to get a piece of the quarterback again. Kevin Cobb has not had a clean pocket this whole night, and he's thrown the ball 30 times already.
Third down and 12. Kevin Cobb, only one of his last 6 has been completed. Steps away from the pressure, throws on the run, and incomplete. They'll have to kick from their own end zone.
I mean, it's Chris Long again, beating Massey quickly. As soon as you beat Massey quickly, you force him out of the pocket, and William Hayes becomes involved.
You saw the tattoos there on Chris Long. That one on his left bicep says high motor. I guess so.
I thought it yesterday when we met with him. I only saw part of it. I thought it said hi, Mom.
That's not a picture of his mom, trust me.
Yeah, Diane's great. They've been, Diane and Howie have 3 wonderful kids, great parents. It's kind of cool to see Chris so happy.
Zassadel from his own end zone.
Catch it.
It's going to take a big time bounce. Jenkins takes it on the bounce at the 39. And he's only going to get about 4 yards on the return. And a big time block back there on that short return. Been a tough night on quarterbacks, courtesy of Chris Long and company. Join the NFL and the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer by supporting the A Crucial Catch campaign. Visit NFL.com/auction and you can bid on authentic NFL pink gear worn by the players and the coaches. Rams good field position, their own 43-yard line. Steven Jackson broke a tackle, got to midfield. One of his better runs of the night. Greg Toller made the stop as we check in with Alex.
Hey, Brad, well, we've talked a little bit about October being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Arizona Cardinals defense playing with an awful lot of energy tonight. Right before they took to the field at the beginning of this game, Darnell Dockett told me that the defensive unit as a whole is playing for a backup linebacker, Nick Eason. He just lost his mother the end of August to breast cancer. It's a disease that affects an awful lot of us.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's touched just about everybody that we know, I think, family or friends. Jackson, another tough run. First down, and they still don't have him down. Nick Eason was in on the play, as a matter of fact, but Jackson got the first down at the 46-yard line. Finally, a semblance of a running game in the last 2 snaps.
If you want to cure your passing ills, the best way to do it is to gain some yardage on the ground, take some pressure off your offensive line so that defensive line can't continue to tee off and make you one-dimensional.
First down since, early, I should say, in the second quarter. And it's Jackson again. Off to the races. Steven Jackson down. Another first down inside the 35. The leading rusher in Rams team history. Even though Marshall Faulk and Eric Dickerson were here, is this guy right here.
Zone blocking up front. 2 tight ends over here. Everybody takes that step to their left. Good job by 72, Wayne Hunter. He gets the key block on the corner, and Jackson just cuts it up like he has for 9 years. And Brad, there's some hard miles on that man's legs.
We're not kidding. We mentioned earlier 7 straight 1,000-yard campaigns. Here he comes again. And he's inside the 30 to the 29. 5 more for the 9th-year pro out of Oregon State. They've had some great ones. One of our own, in fact, in Marshall Faulk, Lawrence McCutcheon back in the day, and Eric Dickerson. But Steven Jackson closing in on 10,000 in his career.
Interesting, they drafted 2 tailbacks this year. 2nd-round pick Isaiah Pete, a 7th-round pick Darrell Richardson. Alex had talked earlier about the fact that Les Snead might let him out of the contract this year, and it'll be interesting to see how that develops.
Richardson's in there right now behind Bradford. Tight end on the move. On second down, the toss to Richardson, and he's got some quicks. Short of the first down, but he's within a yard.
And this puts your lineman in a comfort zone. It's so much easier to run block. Watch Wayne Hunter here. Struggles a little bit against speed rush, but here he's going to pull down. Kendricks, the tight end, gets the block. He turns it up into the hole, kicks out the defensive end, and again, positive yardage. Now, where are you on third down? Third and short.
Third and short, and you know you've got an almost automatic 3 with your kicker when the ball's at the 25-yard line. But they're thinking 7 here.
Yeah.
Jackson back in on third down, less than 1. He'll be the guy that gets the call, and he's got it. First down, dragging tacklers to the 20 and maybe to the 19.
And they're letting those big offensive linemen eat right now. Come off the football. Harvey Dahl had a great block, the right guard that time, getting up to the second level.
Dahl came here a couple of years ago as a free agent from Atlanta, the road grader, they call him.
Watch him get up to the second level after the initial contact. Bang, second level, great pickup. Steven Jackson reads it correctly. It's an easy first down. 6
straight runs on this drive, Mike. First and 10 at the 7.5-minute mark at the 20. They stay in a 2 tight end set, and they're going to keep it on the ground, and it's Richardson for a quick 4 to the 16.
And he almost popped that one.
Yep.
And he's a lot quicker than Steven Jackson is at this point in his career. He's a lot smaller, rookie. He's got a little bit of burst to him.
You mentioned 7th round pick, number 252 in the most recent draft. Red zone has almost been a dead zone for the Rams. Better than they have been in past years, though. Now Bradford might want to throw. Screen pass was supposed to be set up. Darrell Washington blew that up.
Darrell Washington is so quick and becoming a defensive force in this league. Here he comes right here. They're trying to set screen up, A-gap pressure. The tailback Richardson's a little bit late getting the chip, and it forces Bradford out of the pocket and again disrupts the timing of the play.
Longest streak of incompletions in Sam Bradford's 3-year career. He needs to hook one up here to pick up 6 yards. Third down, long 5, we'll call it.
Tailback wants to get out in the route here. You can tell by his alignment.
Bradford pressured again. Fade to the corner. It's going to be intercepted if he's in by Peterson. And he is.
That was Patrick Peterson's ball the whole time. I really hate this throw. It's way too far inside. Let's see if both feet come down with possession. 1, 2. He's down. With the ball, does he control it through the process? High points it.
There's one.
Let's see, where's the ball? The
There's
second one
2.
comes down clearly as long as he has full possession, and it looks like that will be a turnover.
Patrick Peterson looks like his second interception of the season to give the Cards the football back. Interception by Patrick Peterson, upheld. And a hit taken by Sam Bradford at the end of the play. And he, very similar to his junior year at Oklahoma in the opening game in one of those kickoff classics tonight, did it. He landed the same way and hurt his shoulder, and he was lost for a good chunk of the year. Kevin Cobb over the middle, knocked down, incomplete, intended for Hausler. And now Kevin Cobb has gone 6 passes without a completion. Bradford 11. We haven't had a pass complete in the second half. Would someone please complete a pass?
And I keep going back to what we said at the top, which is the offensive lines or the Achilles heels. Can they protect the quarterback? The resounding answer has been no.
On either side. On 2nd and 10, Cobb is going down again. Jermel Cudjoe with the sack and a penalty down as well.
St. Louis is just getting all kinds. It's just four-man pressure. There's nothing exotic going on from St. Louis.
Here's John Perry, the referee.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Grabbing the helmet open and pulling the helmet. 50-yard penalty.
Here's Cudjoe. He's
First
going to
down.
beat Adam Snyder with a little swim move right there. Gets to the quarterback because of the pump fake.
And there's the
Pulling.
unnecessary roughness, pulling his helmet off. That's a first down for the Cardinals.
And that's probably correct, but I struggle with that because you're just trying to get any piece of them you can.
I'm telling you, Kevin Cobb's going in for dental work tomorrow. Well, this one's over.
It's hard to be a defensive player in the NFL today. It really is.
First and 10 at the 29. Draw play. Williams ran into his own man, and then he ran into a whole herd of Rams.
You're right. Adam Snyder could have been credited for a tackle here, the right guard. Here they come. No huddle, little tempo.
Cobb in an empty backfield. Second down and 13. Steps up, deep middle. Larry Fitzgerald's got it. First down.
Now that time the blocking was 5-on-3 because they had a four-man line. Cudjoe dropped out in the zone blitz. 5-on-3, and now you've got some time. You can step into the ball, and you got your completion there, partner.
Yep. Out to the 40-yard line. Remember, just moments ago, it looked like a sack.
Yep.
And with the personal foul and the throw to Fitzgerald, Cardinals have it at the 40-yard line. Ryan Williams looked a little indecisive on where to line up in that backfield. They fake it to him, and it's batted down at the line by Robert Quinn.
You know what? If Robert Quinn doesn't get this, Cortland Finnegan might have, because he jumps it. Watch what happens right here when he jumps this thing. The ball, look where he is. He's in between the quarterback and the receiver. If Robert Quinn doesn't get a piece, that might be a pick six.
Second and 10. And again, empty set for Kevin Cobb on the shotgun. Here comes that front four, and down he goes again. And it's Robert Quinn again.
Hey, Ness, it's 5-on-3 again. They're only bringing 3. He beats Massey clear across his face. Why doesn't the left guard help him out here? It's 5-on-3. He's going to come right across his face like this. Defensive tackle is going to drop into protection. College can come back and help. He's too late. But the pressure these tackles are putting on their offense is inordinate.
Robert Quinn's 4th sack of the season, and it's got the crowd riled here in the Dome. It's 3rd and 15. Cobb in trouble again. Long's got him. He gets away, fires, and he's got Larry Fitzgerald on the run. He's got a first down way out at the 35-yard line of the Rams. Wow, a 30-yard completion on 3rd and 15 with Chris Long hanging on you.
And you said that it was extended because of the penalty, number 1. Now watch Cobb here. Again, Chris Long is going to be, I thought there was a holding call that should have been called right there on Massey. It was not called. Cobb keeps the play alive, as does Larry Fitzgerald. Quarterback's in trouble, scramble rules. Track him, catch it, first down.
At the 36-yard line. Back to try the ground game. Loss of a yard by Ryan Williams.
There's nothing there, is there? I mean, they're going to win or lose this game based on whether or not Kevin Cobb and his receivers can make plays, because Robert Quinn, Chris Long, and that defensive front four are dominating this football game.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 as we approach the 3-minute mark, 3rd quarter. action. Cobb running out of time again. Laurinaitis and Quinn and company.
And Larry Fitzgerald was open, but there's not enough time to get it there. He wants him on a deep cross, but there is so much pressure. Kevin Cobb's eyes are coming down quickly. Watch what happens with the pressure. Quinn. Here. Off the edge. Completely up the middle. Eyes come down. Now watch Fitzgerald go to the corner. He wins there. The safety's not over top yet. If he has an opportunity to rip that, it's a completion.
Fans are loving their defense right now. 3rd down and 16. Cobb got away. Throws on the run. Out of bounds. And a flag down.
Yeah, now Chris Long got pressure again. And I don't think he got a face mask. I thought he got held again.
We're about to find out.
They actually chipped Chris Long this time, and he still got pressure.
70.
Yeah, Bobby Massey's been holding him almost every play.
4th down.
Now this time they're going to double team him with Hausler. 2 people on him. He splits the double, strong enough to beat by bending and using muscle, and Massey holds him. Whew.
Punting time again. I'm surprised Kevin Cobb can chew that ice.
Now, the last couple punts that this kid has caught, he's almost fumbled. So just an alert with Amendola out of the game and Janoris Jenkins back there. Be careful.
One of those knuckleball punts that he'll have to fair catch back near the 10-yard line. 2:19 remaining 3rd quarter. This has been a familiar sight for Kevin Cobb. Last week against the Dolphins and again against the Rams tonight. Tomorrow on NFL Total Access, Colts quarterback Andrew Luck joins us to discuss how he and his teammates plan to take on the Packers, along with the latest news leading into the weekend's games. Catch NFL Total Access tomorrow 7 Eastern, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on NFL Network. Danny Amendola with a sling on over there on the sideline as his Ram teammates start at the 11. Sam Bradford loads and going deep. Incomplete. Brandon Gibson, the intended receiver.
Also had Kendricks heading right down the chute, had an opportunity to make a play deep. Now the loss of Amendola hits me on 2 levels. One is it's the security blanket taken away from Sam Bradford, the guy that can win quickly. And the second part of it is on a personal level. The kid's fought so hard to get where he is. In 2010, he had 85 receptions. Then he goes on IR last year, week 1. I just hope it's something very small and he's back soon because the kid's fought his tail off to get where he is.
Seems to be his clavicle, something on his right shoulder. Bradford's missed his last 12 passes. This has been the best offense, keeping it on the ground with Richardson and Jackson. And Richardson pops one out for 15.
Yeah, and you sense this coming the last drive. And again, this is the right guard. Watch the right guard get a reach block right in here and the center come down. That creates an opening. He sees it. He's got the burst. Really good job, Rob Turner, Harvey Dahl, and the young rookie reads it correctly.
Tell you what Alex talked about with Jeff Fisher, he said we got to keep the football more in the second half. They have done that successfully here in the 3rd quarter. They only had the ball a little over 10 minutes in that first half. Again, quick, 4 or 5 yards.
And I go back to what they're doing up front. Offensive line coach Paul Boudreau with a group of journeymen starting up front, keeping it together. 1 sack on Bradford, 7 on Kevin Cobb.
All right, there's Paul.
Been around this league a long time. Can't really show him something he hadn't seen.
2nd down and 5. Richardson trying to sidestep O'Brien Schofield and couldn't. Nice job by Schofield, 3rd-year pro out of Wisconsin.
He's an interesting story, isn't he? I mean, he tore his knee at the Senior Bowl back in 2010, so he was only able to play in 8 games as a rookie that year. Last year in 11 played 16, and Ray Horton told us last night that he's one of those guys that kind of personifies what this defense is all about. He had to kind of recalibrate how he thought about this game mentally, and he made the effort to do so.
He said Dan Williams changed his body. O'Brien Schofield changed his mind. Quick slant, completes. Somebody finally caught a pass for Sam Bradford. It was Brandon Gibson.
Yeah, and the key to that is Gibson's got to win inside, and Bradford has to trust that he's going to do it.
We played 3. Cardinals still only have 3. Their undefeated streak to start the season very much in jeopardy here in St. Louis. Rams 10, Cardinals 3. Fourth quarter coming up. If you're a Cardinals fan, you're thinking we got them right where we want them. Last 13 games, 7 wins trailing in the fourth quarter. Of that, 16 of the last 20 decided by 7 or less. Guess what? It's a 7-point game, and they're perfect in overtime. And 5 of the last 7 have gone to the final play. Well, Cardinals get their chance. We enter the fourth quarter. They're trailing 10-3.
He's taken a beating today, Kevin Cobb. 7 sacks. He's been hit on almost every throw. That young man has not taken a beating. Looks good, man.
He's going to be tired tomorrow morning, though.
So will Chris Long. He's run more sprints tonight than he has in years.
At the 37-yard line. Rams with a touchdown lead. Open up quarter number 4. They give it off to Daryl Richardson again. Only about a yard. Barris Lennon and Calais Campbell in on the stop. Good start for Sam, especially on the opening touchdown drive when he was 3 out of 4. And it's been really, really tough ever since.
I mean, 2 things. Initially, they haven't been able to run the football, and Danny Amendola dropped 2 or 3 balls he usually catches, and then you lose him for the rest of the game. That's really difficult for this offense to kind of recapture that momentum.
Steven Jackson back in there in the Rams backfield. Jackson stiff arms his way to the outside. Nice run. Showing after 9 years he can still turn on the jets and use the power. He picked up 12.
Yeah, all of a sudden, and you can continue to feel this. Marty Mulligan kind of seals at the end. He doesn't even have to block anybody, but it's the stiff arm by Steven Jackson on Paris Lennon right there that leads to the significant gain.
You got to start to think if the Rams should get a touchdown out of this thing, the way their defense is teeing off on Kevin Cobb, it might be a long, long fourth quarter for Arizona. Jackson again and again takes people with him for about 7 or 8 more.
Kendricks does a great job at the point of attack for a small tight end. Harvey Dahl pulls out, and they got what they want right now. Move the ball, stay in bounds, run the clock, and like you said, Brad, points on the board at this point is huge, the way they've gotten after Kevin Cobb.
Steven Jackson up to 72 yards on the ground, 53, Mike, in this half. Wow. He's got the wheels turning, and they leave him in there with a second down and a long 2.
The fullback in the game. Marty Mulligan, their blocking tight end, 82.
Jackson, head-on collision at the line of scrimmage, and he gets nothing out of that one.
He was smacked pretty good. That was Vonnie Holiday, I think.
Yep. Brings up 3rd down and 2.
This is big. 42-yard line. You add 8. That's 50. It's a 60-yard attempt. And by the way, what's Greg the Legs long?
60.
And what did Coach tell us he would let him go up to?
60. 3rd down, a long 1. Blitz coming on Bradford. He's hit. Flags are down. The pass is complete. Wait on the flag.
It's coming back. There's the double A gap pressure. I think Darrell Washington was held by right guard Harvey Dahl. Shot to the head or a hold.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face.
Yep.
Number 62. Offense. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Ray Horton loves double A gap pressure here, and this is where the penalty is going to get called on Washington. The left hand to the face mask right there by Harvey Dahl.
So instead of a 1st down inside the 35, it's 3rd down and 11 back at the 48.
And completely out of field goal range.
Yep. Even for the leg. They don't need to get all of this back, though, for him. Bradford, deep drop, has time. Long ball, got Gibson out there, got him. It's Gibbons for the touchdown. Chris Gibbons' first touchdown as a Ram. Goes 51 yards.
He had a 52-yard catch a week ago on a double move. Good protection here. Right? When he's got clean feet and vision, his accuracy on the deep balls is as good as anybody in football. Toller was beat, grabbed his hamstring, but that was a double move right there by the rookie from Wake Forest.
Extra point upcoming. And what we just mentioned minutes ago, can the Cardinals dig themselves out of a 2-touchdown deficit in the fourth quarter? We're about to find out. 11:49 to play. Rams in front. Undefeated Cardinals in trouble.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Sam Bradford to that guy, Chris Gibbons. And it's 17-3, and Greg Toller, the guy he beat, I think might have pulled his hamstring at the end of the play.
He grabbed the hammy on about the 5, but he got beat about 20 yards before that with the double move.
Line drives this one, and not returnable. As we take you back, and Mike takes you through the touchdown.
I had a defensive back coach tell me once that lack of eye discipline was the biggest problem on double moves. Watch Toller's eyes. In the backfield, he jumps right here. Eyes are in the backfield. Gibbons is now taken off, and you've got no chance of coming out of the pedal and catching him. You've got to see that receiver. And then at the very end, right hand to the hammy. Amendola, way to go, young man.
Not a spot you want to be in if you're Kevin Cobb. Knocked around, sacked 7 times, and now the Rams have a 2-touchdown lead, and they can tee off on you as if they haven't already tonight. Quick throw, complete to Roberts. A pickup of 8.
The main reason Arizona has 3 points tonight is they've gotten 4-man pressure all night long. Heck, they've even gotten 3-man pressure, Brad.
Mike, they've got 29 second-half yards on 17 plays. Draw play, trying to take away some of that pass rush.
Yeah.
And a big gainer out to the 40, and a huge hit at the end of the play. And let's hope Ryan Williams is okay. Wow. The fact that he's already moved his legs is good news. The bad news is he looks like he might be out on this one.
Darian Stewart with a big hit.
Second time tonight we've had a player pretty much motionless at the end of a play. And we'll be checking on Ryan Williams when we come back. Now, good news, Mike. Ryan Williams walking off under his own power, but much like the punt return with Josh Cribbs we had last week, wicked hit. This is a violent sport.
Wicked hit. Beanie Wells already out and on IR. Ryan Williams, your next tailback, out at least temporarily. I did like the call, though. 7 sacks, all kinds of pressure. What do you do to relieve pressure? Draw screen. And that draw busted wide open.
Got it out to the 40-yard line where they've got some room to work. With 11 minutes remaining, time is of the essence for the Arizona Cardinals, down 2 touchdowns. Alfonso Smith in the backfield, blocking for Kevin Cobb, who throws a strike to early Doucette and a pickup of 6.
And on top of that, Larod Stevens-Howling, their other tailback, was inactive tonight, so they're really down, I think, to Alfonso Smith right now, and
William
their
Powell.
fullback, William Powell, and their fullback Anthony Sherman.
Second down along 4. Cobb flushed out of the pocket. And wow, threw it at the very last second. Flags down.
You see Cortland Finnegan catch the flag? One-handed catch of the flag by Finnegan. Watch at the end of this play. I think there was only 1 foot down. I thought 1 foot was in the air, but when the ref throws the flag, Cortland Finnegan.
Illegal touching of another pass. Number 12.
He went out of bounds.
Offense.
Yep.
Player had gone out of bounds,
Yep.
reestablished, and was the first player to touch the pass. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, the more you can do, right? Throw the flag. Look at 31 on your left.
Yep.
There it is. I think he's returned some punts in his time. That looked pretty good.
Second down, almost 10 to go.
Here they come, man.
Cobb, 4 wideouts. Rams coming after him. Flag down, probably going to have a holding call. Kevin Cobb out of bounds on the far sideline with what would have been a first down.
Right.
Holding, number 74.
Yep.
Offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Batiste on Quinn. All night long, it's been a battle for Massey and Batiste on the left side. They bring 5 this time. One of the A-gap pressure guys, that guarantees a one-on-one. And as you can see, Quinn too quick for Batiste. He gets the arm hooked.
Kevin Cobb's got to be thinking, I just had my longest scramble in about 3 years and they're bringing it back.
Kevin Cobb is going to be really sore tomorrow. You want to talk about the definition of an ice tub. He will be in it tomorrow.
Second down and 19.
Draw, screen, check down, something to relieve this pressure.
Thinking screen, there it is, Mike. And a good call. Got him some of that yardage back. Alfonso Smith knocked out by Darian Stewart.
I like the call, and I think it's something even though they're down 2 touchdowns, there's still over 9 minutes left, and they have not been able to slow down pressure any other way. And so far, they popped a draw and a screen on this drive.
Third down and 6.
This is where you earn your money in the NFL. This is the money down. Isn't that what Patrick Peterson said last night?
Exactly. Larry Fitzgerald way up to the top of your screen. Working against Janoris Jenkins. Cobb's coming the other way with it, though. And it's complete. And it's a first down. Michael Floyd held on to that one.
Yeah, and Kevin Cobb stared down a blitz in the face and still made the throw. Now they're playing here comes overload blitz here. Cortland Finnegan hesitated, allowed Cobb the ability to get rid of the football.
And Floyd, who dropped one earlier in the ball game, held on to that one, good for 17 and a first down at the 39. Cobb, the deep out the other way to Fitzgerald, who tiptoes out of bounds with another first down.
Really good throw over Finnegan and in front of the corner. I really like the timing and the throw here. Zone, he reads the zone, puts the ball on him. Finnegan's going to buzz that way. You got to go over Finnegan and in front of the corner. Really timed well. That's just a different way to get double coverage on Larry Fitzgerald, and he dropped it in between them.
Anthony Sherman in there to help block for Kevin Cobb, the fullback. Cobb will be in the shotgun again. 4 wideouts. First down at the 28. Cobb has time, running out of it, and now throws desperately and got it complete to Sherman. So he didn't block. He caught the pass and got it down first and goal.
You know, the guy that caught the pass was the key man in blitz protection also. Watch Sherman right here step up and make the clear play on the blitz protection. He sees it. He sticks him right there. He buys time for Cobb, and then to relieve pressure, he just goes out in the flat. Kevin Cobb keeps the play alive. Brad, this is by far the best drive we've seen from Arizona tonight, and a great job by Sherman.
And first and goal at the 9.
Where's Andre Roberts been? That's what I want to know.
Cobb scrambles, throws, end zone, incomplete. Intended for early Doucette.
7 minutes left in the ball game. You're down 2 scores. You know, 3 points doesn't help you.
No, this is 2-down territory. It's got to be.
Yeah.
They lost their last 64 when they trailed by 10 or more. They're down 14 and they need a touchdown, and they need another one after this. Second and goal. Fitzgerald wide to the left and 2 receivers to the near side. Cobb throws short to his fullback again. And he rumbles down inside the 5, just outside the 2.
I like that call again. Another little screen, check down. Lyle Senline, the center, did a nice job after the ball was thrown. Give yourself an opportunity here. Mike Miller trying to get creative here in the second half. Chipping and tight ends didn't help. Now you're going to a different kind of attack, and it's finally working.
Well, they're running people in and out of the lineup, both teams. Meanwhile, the play clock down to 10.
Now, these refs have to give them an opportunity to get people on and off the field. And Jeff Fisher's out there, I believe. Timeout. That's frustrating.
We'll take a timeout, too. 6:20 remaining. Big third down and goal coming up for the Cardinals when we come back. Cardinals with a third down and goal upcoming. They've got Floyd, Doucette, Roberts, and Fitzgerald, all the wideouts in that huddle.
How about 7 for 8 with screen and draw introduced into this drive?
Sherman, the guy that got him down there, the fullback, is in there as well. Kevin Cobb's hit 5 different guys just on this drive alone. He's in an empty backfield right now. Wanted to throw quick, now comes back the other way. It's almost intercepted by Darian Stewart.
And here comes the decision. 4th down. You're down 14 points, and there's a flag, huh? On the offense.
Jeff Fisher will decline this.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 15. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Third down.
And he won't decline it. He's going to back him up.
Yeah, I think you back him up here. Michael Floyd being aggressive with the push off. And there was a disconnect between Floyd and his quarterback there.
John Perry, the referee, came over and looked at Jeff Fisher and said, do you want to decline? That's what I was watching, was the referee. Jeff said no.
Jeff knows they're going for it on 4th if he declines it there, and he'd rather hit them go more than 2 or 3 yards with the ball roll.
So it's third down and goal, but it's way back inside the 14-yard line.
Your mentality has to be you've got 2 plays to score here. I think you're going to see something underneath.
Doucette in motion. Cobb throws underneath, as Mike said, to Fitzgerald, but he only got it to about the 6-yard line. 4th and goal.
He draws the crowd, doesn't he, Ness?
He sure does. Kevin Cobb's thrown 45 passes. Has been sacked 7 times and is hooked up with Larry Fitzgerald now 7 times for 89 yards. But what they need is 6 more right here.
Yeah, you could kick a field goal to go down 8 and a touchdown, etc., but I think I think this is the right call. Got to get the touchdown.
Well, this might be the ball game. Cobb throws, Fitzgerald. Rams take over.
Janoris Jenkins competes, man. I'll tell you right now, that young kid competes.
The Rams hold.
Fourth down, you got to throw the football in the end zone. This safety here makes any kind of slant counterfeit. Why don't you go to the back of the end zone? 1-on-1, rookie corner, step inside, go outside, and throw the ball up in the air to your 6'3" receiver. You know, it's easy to sit up here and be critical, but I think in a situation like that, the ball has to go in the end zone.
Steven Jackson doesn't get much. But right now, if the Rams can put any kind of running game in order, Cardinals have already used one of their 3 timeouts. Tonight's aerial coverage presented by Southwest Airlines. Pretty night in St. Louis, and it's going to be even prettier for the Rams fans if they hold on to this lead and win. They'd be 3-2. Been a long time since we could say that about the Rams.
How about that?
Yeah.
Chris Long, of course, would be the first one to tell you in his career he's never even been over 500. I think that Quinn Ojanaka.
He's coming out, and Shelley Smith's going in. 93 games since they were above 500. 2006.
What was the number we saw this week? The worst 5-year record in NFL history.
So guys like Laurinaitis and Chris Long have put in the long, hard, arduous task of trying to become a winning team. They're about to in the next 5 minutes. Jackson bulldozing his way out there to the 10-yard line. That is a tough run.
That's what coaches like to refer to as pushing the pile. Tailback and all the linemen just keep churning their legs.
80 yards for Jackson. 80 tough yards.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, it's been 9 years of tough yards.
Yeah. This would be a huge 3rd down. Cardinals need a stop here.
Cards have to sell out assuming you're going to get a run here.
There it is. And it paid off for him. Darrell Washington came in there.
Darrell Washington's made a living in the A-gap tonight. Makes another tackle for loss.
We got another Ram down. And that's Britt Miller, the fullback. 4th down, a punt coming from the Rams when we come back. Britt Miller, the fullback, coming out with a limp. Meanwhile, the special teams and the punting unit goes in as Hecker 5 punts tonight, and he's averaged just under 60 a kick.
Hard to say who's the MVP tonight, that front four or Hecker.
Just remember who's back waiting on the punt, though. That guy.
I'd be tempted to kick this one out of bounds. Nothing crazy. I wouldn't want anything crazy here. Smart.
We're going to let the clock wind down here.
Yeah, we're still only on 9, 8, 7.
And timeout taken by Jeff Fisher. 3:26. We're going to have to wait another minute on the next punt. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And by Prudential. See what the first day of retirement feels like at dayonesstores.com. Brad Nussler, Mike Mayock, Alex Flanagan, and Johnny Hecker, who's set to punt from his own end zone. Another nice kick, but Peterson's going to have a shot at it from the 36. Peterson to midfield, down the sideline. Ran out of real estate or he might have been gone.
Kick it out of bounds.
Another 55-yard kick. But the return good for 26, and there's still life for the Cardinals down. 2 touchdowns.
You see his foot come out of bounds right there. Good call. I just wouldn't want to give him a chance to beat me. I don't think I'd kick it to him.
The last 2 drives for the Cardinals had a 10-play drive and had to punt, and an 11-play drive that covered 77 yards, and they gave it up on downs on that 4th down and goal. Here they are at the 38-yard line. Still a shot in the game. Their best starting field position. Cobb looking to throw. He's got to get rid of this. And a flag down in the secondary.
It was obvious. Cortland Finnegan took a shot about 20 yards down the field on Doucette. I think he wants to say he was out of bounds, but Finnegan took the shot. Watch Finnegan coming over.
Ooh.
See?
Yeah.
I don't know how you defend that one. He's saying the quarterback's outside the pocket.
Holding. Defense. Number 21. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
I think they meant 31, not 21.
Yeah.
Unless that's the call on Jenkins.
I guess it is, but I'm telling you, I watched the ref throw the flag right at Cortland Finnegan.
Well, he almost hit him with it. So, a couple of different flags. One up at the top, one down at the bottom here.
He's out of the pocket. Finnegan saying, I can hit him now.
So the line of scrimmage, the 33-yard line with 3:04 to go. 4 wideouts for Kevin Cobb, who's been a busy quarterback tonight. Set to throw again. Pump fakes. Now here comes the heat. Throws short. Doucette's got it. Tiptoes out of bounds with a first down. So the clock stops with 2:56 remaining.
Cobb kept that play alive again. Michael Brockers, pressure in his face. Need to score quickly and kick it onside.
Cobb throws across the middle. Oh, man. Did Larry Fitzgerald get leveled by Jolon Dunbar?
Wow. Uncharacteristically today, we've seen Amendola with a couple drops. Larry Fitzgerald, he drops this before the hit. Falls through his hands, and Dunbar cleans it up. He's trying to catch it and make a move. That's a clean hit. Underneath on the shoulder pass.
2nd and 10 at the 22. Cobb steps away from the pressure this time and throws on the run complete. It's Andre Roberts. Close to a first down.
Another injury.
We got a couple guys down.
Yeah.
One from each team. That's Kendall Langford, the defensive tackle, and that's the fullback, Anthony Sherman. Reminder for you, Sundays wake up with First on the Field and NFL Game Day morning. Sunday, First on the Field shows how Charles Woodson has taken advantage of rookie quarterbacks over the years and what that means for Andrew Luck. And on Game Day morning, Steelers and Eagles going to get together. Michael Vick and Big Ben, they'll talk about their ability to take hits. First on the Field and Game Day morning all starts Sunday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time.
3rd and 1, man.
Again, 2-down territory for the Cardinals. Clock riding its way under 2.5.
Taking way too much time here. Clock's winding.
Cobb with a fade to the corner. Overshot, Doucette, incomplete.
Another rookie corner, Trumaine Johnson from Montana with good coverage there all by himself with Doucette. But, you know, Kevin Cobb gets over there. He's got to be cognizant of the fact that they're winding that clock. He stood there. He lost about 12 to 14 seconds. Little push off that I think Doucette got away with.
And now it's 4th down and 1. They need the first down desperately.
Yep. Got to secure the first down.
That's Alfonso Smith. It's an empty backfield. Cobb. Down he goes. That might do it.
Cortland Finnegan is just untouched, man. Look at these fans. It's cool.
8th sack of the night. Shades of last week. But I don't think they're going to win this one like they won in the Dolphins game.
It's hard to fathom 16 sacks in a 2-week period. Finnegan's going to come off the edge here on the right side, untouched. Massey blocks down. Nobody saw him. And if you want to blame Kevin Cobb, I struggle with that.
Well, as soon as Alfonso Smith emptied out of the backfield, the Rams knew they could just bring the heat. There's nobody there to help him.
They only brought 5, though. You can block 5 with 5. There's been a lot of breakdowns up front.
Jackson didn't gain anything, but they didn't need much.
Arizona calls a timeout prior to the 2-minute warning.
They'll get another stop after the next play.
2 key 4th down plays are what it came down to. You know, here we are, 4th down. I believe you got to throw this football into the end zone. They run slant. Good tackle by Janoris Jenkins, but I think you got to run fade and give Fitzgerald a chance. Now it's 4th and 1. Finnegan untouched off the edge. Nothing Cobb can do about that. And, you know, let's stick our hands up in the air and say there isn't even an official defensive coordinator here for the St. Louis Rams, but starting with Fisher and going from Fisher to assistant head coach Dave McGinnis to linebacker coach Blake Williams, son of Greg Williams.
Right.
Blake's really the guy that put a lot of this defense in. Chuck Cecil, the defensive back coach, who was a 2-year coordinator for Jeff in Tennessee, and Mike Waffle, this whole defensive staff. Kudos, fellas.
Well, the Cardinals are going to be wondering in 3 red zone possessions why they only got 1 field goal and 2 loss of downs as we go to the 2-minute warning. 1:59 to be exact. The Rams 1:59 away from being 3-2 on this 2012 season.
Rich Eisen getting ready for the McDonald's post-game show. Star of the game on the set, and it's going to look like it's a St. Louis Ram or Rams, Brad and Mike.
All right, Rich, we'll see you in a couple of minutes. It is 3rd down and 13 here with 1:59 left, and Cardinals still have 2 timeouts remaining. They'll keep it with Richardson on the ground. Short game, but the clock going to be stopped again by the Cardinals with 1:55. The story of the night, Kevin Cobb beaten and battered by the Rams defense.
Mostly with 4-man pressure. I mean, Kevin Cobb has taken a beating all night long. He's been bloodied, literally. The tackles inside have gotten to him, the ends outside. Very little gains, except the key play there at the end with Cortland Finnegan. But, Brad, it's not just 8 sacks. It's just the constant pressure and the constant pounding. That's unacceptable. 16 sacks in 2 weeks.
You know, it was a boxing match. They'd have stopped this thing already. Here comes Hecker.
I'm not punting. I'm going to say it again. I'm not punting it to 21. I'm going to kick it out of bounds, and if it costs me 15 yards, that's fine.
He's had some great returns tonight, just not one that's gone to the house. But he did it twice against the Rams last year, an 80-yarder and a 99-yarder to win in overtime. Wasn't facing this punter, though. And so far, this guy's been pretty good.
Now he's turned the other way, like he's going to punt to his left. As close as he can over there. There's Patrick Peterson moving over.
It's away.
End over end. Peterson at the 37. Going to go the long route. Trying to get to the corner. Midfield. To the 45, maybe the 44. Again, a good return, but couldn't quite break it open. Next Wednesday, catch a football life for an in-depth look at the most dominant defensive line in NFL history. The Fearsome Foursome. 4 incredible men who created an unstoppable force on the field and an inseparable bond off it. Don't miss the Fearsome Foursome. Football Life next Wednesday at 8 Eastern, exclusively on NFL Network. Deacon Jones and Merlin Olsen and the guys.
That's pretty cool stuff if you've ever seen those. They're really cool both on and off the field.
45 yards away from the end zone with one timeout and a minute 41 to go, and they need 2 touchdowns to the Cardinals. And there's another sack. The ball is out. It's scooped up by the Rams, and that'll just about do it.
And that kind of sums up the night, Brad. That's what this night has been. Robert Quinn clearly beats Batiste around the edge.
I guess Chris Long was right. This guy is going to be pretty good.
He's got wonderful movement skills. You can see him naturally bend and move. He extends. Batiste and Massey have struggled with speed all night long, and just great awareness by Quinn to grab that elbow and force the fumble. Look at them. There they are.
The 2 defensive ends celebrating what's going to be a victory.
Nice game, Chris.
Quite a night. Yep. And it's been a long time since the Rams could go into the victory formation and go above 500 and within a game of the leader now. And as for the league, and then there were 2, the Falcons and the Texans, the only 2 unbeatens. Back to the drawing board for the offensive line for Ken Whisenhunt.
Jeff Fisher's gotten this thing. He's energized that building.
Yeah.
Players love talking about him. They're having fun. They play hard and they play fast, and they feel like they can win now. It's pretty cool.
Jeff said yesterday, if you don't come to work and have fun, it's not worth it. They're having fun now, aren't they?
Yeah, man.
And so are the fans here in St. Louis who've been waiting and waiting for something like this.
There's 2 good head football coaches here, Ken Whisenhunt, Jeff Fisher.
It's the last time Sam Bradford's going to have to touch a knee. The Rams upset the undefeated Cardinals 17-3 the final. Cardinals fall to 4-1. The Rams are 3-2. Don't forget, we'll be back in a minute with a McDonald's postgame show featuring highlights, analysis, interviews, and press conferences. As Rich said, it's going to be a Ram or 2 or 3. Stay with us.